Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dick Durrance.
Thank you, Charlie. Thank you, Charlie. To get us underway, let's have a show of hands. How many of you now take pictures with your phones and cameras? Look around. And how many of you post those pictures online? Yeah. Do you have any idea how many pictures are posted online? According to Mary Meeker, an internet analyst, 1,800,000,000 photographs are posted online every single day. Because so many of us are using pictures to tell our personal and our professional stories, we're going to explore how you can partner with pictures to create and communicate your ideas and your vision, not only to your teammates, but to your cruise ship clients and your prospects. Like so many of your cruise line clients, I love traveling the world, exploring exotic places like the Bay of Bengal, and photographing remarkable people like this Zulu witch doctor, because their lives have so much to show us about our lives. Early in my career, I thought of myself as a photographer, a picture maker. But like most of us, as I gained experience, I wanted to do more with my skills. I wanted to grow from capturing moments in people's lives to telling stories about their lives and their families, where they live, what they do, how they're like us, how they're different. And in telling stories about other people, I found I was learning how I wanted to live my life. I was moving from being a picture maker to becoming a vision maker. And you can do that too. You can partner with pictures to become vision makers in your lives by using mental pictures to create ideas and photographs to communicate your ideas. National Geographic once asked me to photograph an expedition boating the Salmon River in Idaho. And it was on that trip that I met a guy who showed me how to use mental pictures to create a vision for our lives. And it was on that trip that I learned how much photographs can help in telling, in that case, his story to the readers of National Geographic, and this afternoon, in sharing his story with you. The Salmon is a rugged stretch of water. It's so rugged, Lewis and Clark called it the river of no return. And in the very heart of that very wild place, the current swept us around a bend in the river, and there, staring at us from the shore, was this extraordinary character. Gave us a friendly wave, inviting us to come ashore. His name was Buckskin Bill Hart. And that night, over dinner, he described how he came to be living in such a remote place. When he graduated from college, he was, of course, looking around for a job. But everywhere he looked, he saw a country that was collapsing. The stock market had crashed, banks were closing, millions of workers were losing their jobs. The year was 1929, and it was a terrible time to be starting a career. Well, Buckskin Bill realized that he had to come up with a new vision for his life. And he described how he created a picture story in his mind, imagining how he could use the engineering skills that he had just learned in college to build a self-sufficient life. Found this land on the Salmon River, figured out how to build a cabin, how to make the things he would need, from shirts to shoes to copper containers. By creating a new vision for his life, Buckskin Bill built a bridge from where he was to who he hoped to be. let's take a moment so that you can think about some of the ways that you can build bridges from where you are to who you hope to be. Like Buckskin Bill, you can create picture stories in your mind to help you create the ideas you need to deal with the social and the economic forces that shape your lives from the outside and the emotional forces that well up from inside. Now, I am sure I am not the only person in this room who's found that creating new ideas means crossing from the familiar to the unknown. And I think we all know how difficult that can be. As I leapt from one photographic career to another, it was sometimes downright scary. But remember, you all have the power to think and the power to see. Do you remember when you were little tykes, gathered around your grade school teachers, and how you were being taught how to use words to describe and numbers to analyze? How you were being taught how to think? Well, how many of you were being taught how to see, how to use pictures to create ideas and communicate your vision? Not so many, I think. Not so many. Well, over the years, 3 ideas have helped me, and I think can possibly help you, to think and to see, to partner with pictures, to bring to your lives your vision. The first idea is to create a mental picture of a cruise ship so you can see the ship as a whole. That way you can create a picture story in your mind of how your clients can enjoy the various aspects of their cruise, both on the ship and ashore. And then, using words and numbers, you can logically think through the steps you have to take to logically think through the steps you have to take to create the experience that you have pictured for your clients. The second idea is to venture out of your comfort zone and connect with people from other walks of life, whether they're cruise ship clients or the people you're working with ashore, so that you can picture things from their perspective. And the third idea is to pursue your vision with unrelenting tenacity, to keep reaching for the sky, because without that perseverance, how can you possibly know how far you can go? What I hope you take away from today is this thought. When we get up in the mornings, we each face a choice. Are you going to spend the day tucked inside the protective shell of your life, looking out a window, watching the world around you change? Or are you going to get up, go find a door, step out into life, and bring to your teams and your clients the very, very best that you have to offer? So let's take a closer look at that first idea for partnering with pictures. If you trust your imagination, you can create a picture story in your head in which you walk around in the situation, looking at how the different elements relate to each other. And you can turn around and walk back through the situation, looking at other ways they can connect with each other. And then, if you logically analyze the situation, you can combine the mental pictures and the analysis to bring your vision to life. I find that adding pictures to words and numbers expands your thinking from simply analyzing facts to visualizing possibilities. For instance, when you look at this picture, what do you see? A couple of chairs facing the ocean, right? That's what it is. I'd like you to take a good look at that picture, fix the image in your mind, and then close your eyes and create a mental picture of yourself sitting in that chair with a special person next to you, feeling the soft ocean breeze wash across your face. Seeing things for what they are and picturing what else they can be, and then using numbers and words to analyze how you can actually make it happen is, for me, at the very heart of creating new ideas and bringing your visions to life. I mean, have you found that sometimes opportunities magically appear on the horizon? In the fall of my junior year in college, a friend pictured a grand adventure in his mind, a canoe trip down the Danube River, and he asked me to join the team as one of the 2 expedition photographers. Well, in spite of the fact that I was a beginning photographer at that point, and the other photographer, Chris, had never actually published any pictures, I said, guys, this is such a good idea. Let's see if National Geographic would be interested in the story. Well, the guys just laughed. I mean, come on, Dick. Well, the director of photography at National Geographic did not laugh. He loved the idea. He loaned us 6 cameras. He gave us 400 rolls of film. And he said, boys, what I want you to do is shoot, shoot, shoot. Well, what an opportunity we created, paddling by fabulous monuments like the Parliament building in Budapest, floating under spectacular cliffs in Yugoslavia, steering our canoes through the fabled Iron Gates where the Carpathian Mountains squeeze the river into powerful swirling currents. Okay, I know. The accommodations were not up to your standards. But we were on the adventure of a lifetime. Every day, I passionately pursued pictures from sunrise to sunset, slowly learning to see pictures and to think through the steps needed to capture them. I was trying to capture moments in people's lives, like this woman preparing breakfast in Yugoslavia, or this blacksmith working his forge in Bulgaria. Before long, I found that I wanted to show more about how people lived their lives, like this woman tending to her beautifully kept home in the Danube Delta. And I began to explore how people, particularly kids, create the dreams that guide their lives. I mean, look at these Romanian kids watching television through a shop window because it was the only TV in town, seeing a world far different than their tiny little village, and perhaps picturing themselves living in that world they were seeing on the little screen. Or these boys playing soccer in the street, possibly picturing in their minds that they were in a giant stadium, that the fans were screaming, and that they were going to score the winning goal. It was on the Danube that it dawned on me that in telling other people's stories, I was beginning to picture how I wanted to live my life. I was becoming a vision maker. And you can do that too, partnering with pictures to bring your vision to life. Like all of us when we're beginners, I was making some mistakes. Kind of like this little guy in Bucharest who scraped his knee learning to ride his scooter. One of them was a doozy. Shortly after putting back in the river in Passau, Austria, we ran into a patch of really lousy weather. And it wasn't until the afternoon of the 3rd day that the sun finally broke through those black clouds, beaming a shaft of golden light on the 3 of the canoes and a big castle called Durrance. It was spectacular. I grabbed my camera. Click! I got one picture before the sun went back into those clouds, and I'm screaming at the top of my lungs, guys, I just got the cover picture. And I would love to show you that cover picture. But this is what I got. Yeah, the lens cap was on. I was sick. Have you ever left a cap on the lens through which you see the world and blinded yourself to a great opportunity? I still think about that picture. Every time I find myself struggling to do something, whether I'm held back by a lack of skills or a reluctance to make a change, I remember that missed picture and I try again, even harder. Happily, the editors at National Geographic found enough good pictures to lay out a 45-page cover story. And here's the amazing part. As you know, this was our first story. Well, it was selected by the readers of National Geographic as the most popular story they published that year. Yeah, Chris and I were lucky. I mean, come on, we were incredibly lucky. But what I hope you remember is this. If you don't try and keep trying, how in the world can you know how far you and your clients can go? Well, as you know, sometimes we don't get to choose the next chapter of our lives. And like many guys of my generation, I got drafted and served as a combat photographer in Vietnam. Well, this is not the time for those stories, but I wanted you to know that just weeks after getting back from the war, I left on another National Geographic assignment, hiking the mountains of Romania, where I discovered the second idea for partnering with pictures. If you venture out of your comfort zone and connect with people from other walks of life, people who can broaden your vision, you'll learn to picture things from their point of view. At the beginning of the adventure, because the transition from combat to the tranquility of Romania was so abrupt, I was really struggling. I could enjoy the beautiful scenes that we enjoyed, but I found it difficult to connect with the people we were meeting. They seemed like ghostly figures drifting through the fog. About a week into the trip, we topped a ridge, and there below us was a spectacular Moldavian cloister called Sucevița, where the Mother Superior greeted us and ushered us into a cozy little kitchen. Her cook had a fire crackling in the stove, and as the room filled with the aroma of an omelet rising, the Mother Superior asked each of us to tell her a little about her life. And I blurted out that I had just come from the war in Vietnam. Silence, long silence. And then with understanding in her eyes, the Mother Superior looked right through my eyes, into the core of my being, connected with me, and sensed what I was feeling, and said very simply, "Boys, we're going to have a service tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock. You're welcome to attend." Well, entering that chapel was like stepping back in time. We were surrounded by shafts of light, the murmuring of prayers, the scent of candles burning. The Mother Superior, with her caring energy, shows us all how, by reaching out and connecting with people, we can see and understand things from their perspective. By the next morning, I was feeling so much better. I was joking with this farmer's wife and kidding with these guys we passed along the way. And after a steep climb, I came face to face with this Romanian shepherd, looked him in the eyes, and he looked back intensely, creating a powerful moment of understanding. Have you ever experienced a moment like that? Understanding without words? The legendary consultant, Peter Drucker, said, "The most important thing in communication is hearing what is not said." Well, I found that when we reach out to people and look at things from their perspective, that we not only connect with them, that we also care more about them, understand their lives a little better, and see our own lives in a new light. Yes, we need vision. Yes, we need to reach out to other people. But more than anything, we need unrelenting tenacity. And that is our third idea for bringing your vision to life. As Victor Hugo said, perseverance is the secret to all triumphs. Well, can you picture in your mind people you've met who have that kind of tenacity? I got a good look at persistence in photographing Andy O'Hare and his family at their ranch in Montana. Andy, the third generation to work their spread, described his family and their fellow ranchers as studies in tenacity, dealing as they do with the vagaries of weather, water, and the wild gyration of markets. As I followed Andy on his rounds, feeding cattle at sunrise and nursing newborn calves, as I tagged along with his mother, Agnes, as she collected eggs and prepared a midday meal for the family and the hands, and as I watched Andy's dad, Alan, work the ditches to irrigate their hay, I was reminded of how much we all have to be studies in tenacity if we hope to bring our visions to life. As Calvin Coolidge said, nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not, genius will not, education will not. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. Once you've created your ideas, you can then select photographs to communicate your vision to your team members and your cruise ship clients and your prospects. The first criteria in selecting pictures is light, because it's light that focuses the attention of your viewers on the important elements in your picture and in your story. For instance, look at how the shiny axe and the brightly lit flag and the horse in a spot of light tell a story about country living in Maine. The second criteria in selecting pictures is lines, because lines lead your viewer into the picture, to the important elements in your story. And just as I was using lines created by the cars to draw your eye to the skyline in booming Atlanta, so you can look for lines that lead your viewers to the ideas in your stories, in your vision. The third criteria in selecting pictures is color, because color communicates the emotions that underlie your story. I mean, the soft red color in this picture helped my client emphasize the warm feeling of welcome at the opening of one of his facilities. And the fourth criteria in selecting pictures is perhaps the most powerful feature. Pictures have a remarkable ability to show things for what they are and at the same time to symbolically suggest additional meanings. I mean, like this ladder. I mean, couldn't a similar ladder on a ship symbolically suggest the climb to adventure, to knowledge, and to discovery that's awaiting your clients on the cruise? The great orator William Jennings Bryan once famously said, "Destiny's not a matter of chance. Destiny is a matter of choice." And you can choose to partner with pictures in creating and communicating your ideas, in bringing your vision to life, in bringing to the world the very, very best that you have to offer. Thank you very much.